Welcome back to the series, guys, where we are discussing the solutions of the activity questions. So, in the last video, we discussed question 1 and 2 of activity 1.1. And in this video, we'll be discussing the questions 3, 4, 5 of activity 1.1, which basically revolves around vectors. So, the questions 3, 4, 5 are based on this data set. So, the data set that is given to us is present in your screen. So we are given a table where we have the rows that are representing the quiz 1, quiz 2 and some marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana. We have columns where each column is representing the quiz 1 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana, quiz 2 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana and NSEM marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana. So let's move on to the questions. In the question 3, we have to choose the correct set of options. So the first option is marks obtained by Rami in quiz 1, quiz 2 and NSEM represent a column, a row vector. So here if we analyze the data, the table that is given to us, we can see that each row, whereas the first row is 51, 50, 61. So this row represents the marks of Karthika in quiz 1, quiz 2 and NSEM. The first element would represent our marks in quiz 1, the second would represent our marks in quiz 2, and the third element would represent our marks in NSEM. Similarly, we can get the marks of Rami, that is 33, 41, 45, and we can have marks of Farzana as well, which is 38, 21 and 35. Okay, so each row is representing the marks of the individual in quiz 1, quiz 2 and NSEM. So if we check it, marks obtained by Rami, which is again an individual in quiz 1, quiz 2 and NSEM, being represented by a row vector, and this option is correct. Now moving on to the second option, which is quiz 2 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana represents a column vector. So if we analyze a column, we have three columns with us. First is 51, 33, 38. And if we observe carefully, this is representing the quiz 1 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana. So 51 corresponds to the quiz 1 marks of Karthika, 33 corresponds to the quiz 1 marks of Rami, and 38 corresponds to the quiz 1 marks of Farzana. Similarly, where we can have the marks of quiz 2 being represented as column vector as well, where we have 50, 41 and 21, where each element is representing the quiz 2 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana respectively. And here we have marks of NSEM as well, which could be written in this column vector, the 61, 45 and 65. So we can see that each column vector is representing either the marks of quiz 1 or quiz 2 or NSEM of all three individuals. So quiz 2 marks of Karthika, Rami and Farzana represents a column vector. This option is correct as well. Now in the option 3, we are asked that the number of components in a column vector representing quiz 2 marks are 9. So see, if we check the vector that represents the quiz 2 marks, okay. So here we have this vector that represents the quiz 2 marks. Now, if you look carefully, here we have only three components. That is the first component, which is representing the marks of Karthika. We have second component, which corresponds to the quiz 2 marks of Rami. And we have third component, which corresponds to the quiz 2 marks of Farzana. So it is incorrect that we have 9 components. Actually, we have only 3 components. So option 3 is incorrect. And now if we analyze the option 4, which is number of components in row vector representing Rami's marks are 3. So Rami's marks are being represented by this row vector. So here we can see that there are only 3 components, 33, 41 and 45, where the first component corresponds to the quiz 1 marks of Rami, the second component corresponds to the quiz 2 marks of Rami, and the third component corresponds to the quiz and some marks of Rami. So option number 4 is correct. That yes, we have only 3 components in the row vector representing Romy's mass. So this was the question 3 for you. Now moving on to the question 4. Here in question 4, we have, in order to improve her marks, Farzana undertook project work and succeeded in increasing her marks. Her marks became doubled for each exam. Choose the correct set of options. And now let's look at the row vector which was representing the marks of Farzana. So if I write the marks of Farzana here, the row vector that was representing the marks of Farzana was 38, 21, 35. 38, 21, and 35, I guess. Let's check it again. Yeah, it's fine. So we are given in the question that to improve her marks, she undertook a project work and succeeded in increasing her marks. So this was her marks before the project. Okay. And after the project, we know that her marks became doubled for each exam. So uh, we have the marks of Farzana before project and after project. We know the mark. What happened to the marks of Farzana? It doubled for each subject. See, doubled for each subject means you are multiplying each component of this row vector with 2. So what happens when you multiply each component with a constant or with a scalar? So that is what happens in scalar multiplication. So it's just scalar multiplication of 2 with the row vector 38, 21, 35. This row vector is the row vector representing the marks of Farzana in quiz 1, quiz 2, and answer. So when we do the scalar multiplication, when we do the scalar multiplication, the product would be 38 times 2. That is going to be 76, comma 42, comma 70. Yep. So let's analyze the options now. In the first option, it is asked to obtain the marks obtained by Farzana after completion of the project. Scalar multiplication has to be done with a by 2 to the row vector representing Farzana's marks. So this option is correct. The second option is incorrect because here we are doing the scalar multiplication by 1. But we had to do the scalar multiplication by 2. Now, after completion of the project, what would be the result? Right? So we saw the result would be 76, 42, 70. So this option C is correct, whereas other two options are incorrect. So this was the solution of the question 4. Now moving on to the question 5, we are given that following Farzana's marks improve uh, due to her project. All students were given bonus marks in quiz 2, which is uh, given by the column vector 10, 12, 15. What will be the column vector representing the final marks obtained in quiz 2 by Kartika, Rami, and Farzana? So let's see what was the initial marks of all three individuals uh, in quiz 2. So in quiz 2, the marks of the individuals were 50, 41, and 21. So 50, 41, and 21. So these are initial marks. Initial quiz 2 marks. Okay. Now after Farzana completed her project, after Farzana completed her project, we know that her marks in quiz 2 got doubled. So we'll be doubling the marks of Farzana only. So marks of Farzana were 21. So 50 and 41 are going to remain same, whereas we'll double 21, so it would become 41. Now, it is given to us in the questions that every individual got bonus marks in quiz 2. So because we'd be adding this column vector in to our this column vector, which is 50, 41, 41. So this is going to be the vector addition. Why? Because see, we have marks uh, in marks of individuals in quiz 2, individuals in quiz 2 plus bonus marks that every individual got. Every individual got. So here, if we look at it, the marks before getting the bonus is 50, 41, 41, 50, 41, 41, plus we have the bonus marks, which is represented by this column vector 10, 12, 15. Okay, sorry. 10, 12, and 15. Now it is going to be the vector addition of two vectors. So in vector additions, we add the corresponding terms. So 50 plus 10 is going to give us 60. 41 plus 12 will give us 53. And 41 plus 15 will give us 56. So that is going to be our answer. So 60, 53, 56. 60, 53. Uh, mhm. Okay. Have we done any mistake here? Okay, sorry. This should be 42 because we multiplied this with 2. So this should be 42. And here it would be 42 as well. And this would become 57. So mistakes are part of problem solving. So here we made a mistake, but we corrected it later. So the option 60, 53, 57, 60, 53, 57. The option 1 is correct in this case. So here was the solution of question 5 as well. So in this video, we discussed the solutions of 3 questions, which were question 3, question 4, and question 5, which were based on a single comprehension. We solved them. So all the best, and we'll meet in the next video.